Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join today. My name is Katie Town, Regional Marketing Manager for AGCO. I know you probably see a pattern here with our educational webinars as we really try to focus on all things digital, both because it is the most unknown and confusing, as well as highly technical and ever-changing. You hear a lot of confusing acronyms and terms being thrown out: SEM, SEO, organic versus paid, desktop versus mobile. It goes on, and is, again, very complex form of advertising, which is the number one driver as to why we only allow co-op on digital marketing activities through AGCO Direct. We leave it to the experts. This also ensures these same digital activities we are doing at a corporate level, which generates the lead opportunities passed to your dealerships, is not competing with anything you are doing at a local level, as this can happen very easily. So with that, I will turn it over to Tatiana, an expert in paid search, to get us started.
Hello, everyone. As Katie said, my name is Tatiana. I'm a paid search specialist with AGCO Direct. And today we'll just kind of go through SEO and SEM and what those acronyms mean and give a brief introduction to those. And then we'll discuss why they're so important in today's consumer market and as well to your dealership. And if you have any questions as we go through this, just type those into the question box and we'll answer them at the end. So with that, let's just dive right in. Oh. Here we go. So SEO and SEM are two branches of a tree, let's say, called search marketing. Search marketing revolves around search engines, so that's like Google, Bing, Yahoo, all of those. And it's all the things businesses can do to improve their website's visibility on those search engines. And in turn, if everything's done correctly, it can drive more traffic to your website, increase brand awareness, and drive sales. The main difference and takeaway between the two is that SEO, search engine optimization, is an organic search strategy, whereas search engine marketing, SEM, is a paid search strategy. SEM is also referred to as paid search or PPC, so if you hear me say any of those three terms, I'm referring to the same thing. So let's just kind of look at those results in action. Right off the bat, the most visible difference between organic and paid results is that little green box that says ad in it. You can see that on the right-hand side of your screen. So every time someone searches for something on Google or any search engine for that matter, an auction occurs. So in these auctions, Google sends their crawlers out and scans the web for the websites that match closest to whatever the search query is, and then displays those results on the page. And the results that match the closest to the query are posted at the top of the page. And SEO and SEM are just all those things that will get your dealership to that highly coveted real estate. But the how of that is a little bit more complex, so we'll just kind of dive into that as well, and we'll start with the organic side of it. So the SEO works to improve the natural placement on the search engine results pages, or referred to as SERPs. So if you hear me say SERP or results page, I'm just referring to this last page where all of the results pop up. Oops, excuse me. And then, so as it works to improve that natural placement, involves a few different categories. You have on and off page factors, and then a technical side of it. So the on page are all the things that you can do within the web pages itself that help search engines quickly find and understand the content of that site. And this is key because the auctions take just a matter of milliseconds. So if the crawlers can't dissect what the site's content is nearly instantly, that website will be pushed further and further down the SERP, where it becomes less and less likely that users will see or much less click through to the website. So how the crawlers figure out what that website content is pretty much through keywords. So it requires businesses to do some keyword research and figure out those terms that their audience would be searching for, and then place those keywords within the website itself. On the back end, you'd put it in some of the metadata and like title tags and the image alt tags. And you can also put it in the content of your website, so whatever is displayed to the users. And it also requires optimizing those keywords, making sure that those keywords are still working, or if you need any more, that sort of thing. The off-page factors is basically like all the external links that link back to the website and give it that credibility and build the site's reputation. So that's through link building and managing local listings. So link building would be having external websites link back to your website. So that could be like your social media accounts, like your Facebook account linking back to your website. And then your local listings, so like your Google My Business account also linking back to your website. And lastly, the technical side of it relates to the structure of the website and the feasibility of the crawlers to crawl it, as well as the users to use it. So like I said, that relates to like the architecture of the site and how it's set up. It also relates to the speed of the site, how friendly it is to mobile devices, as well as the security of the site. So now that you know a little bit about the back end of how the search engines crawl and rank websites, let's kind of compare the two, SEO, SEM, and then I'll go through them each individually again, just for a little more clarity. So the similarities between SEO and SEM, both can increase a site's appearance in the search results and then drive traffic to the website if the tactics are done correctly. Both also require businesses to know their audience and then to find those keywords and target those keywords that their audience will be searching for. And lastly, both require ongoing management and optimization. And this can be difficult. Industry standards and tactics change frequently, and to be successful, it's important to adjust with those changes. And that's where AGCO Direct comes in. We have both SEO and SEM specialists, and we can handle and manage all of these things for you. So let's kind of move into the differences. Like I said a few slides ago, SEO is the organic side and doesn't have that green box with the ad designation in it, whereas SEM does. You don't pay when someone clicks on your organic search result, but you do with SEM. Another key difference is that with SEO, your website can be displayed to anyone once with those search terms, with a pretty semi-random portion of your web page's content to be displayed on that SERP, whereas SEM allows us to be pretty selective about who sees the ad and the messaging of that ad, which I'll dive into more in a little bit here. It also it can be weeks to months of implementing an SEO strategy before that website starts to rank on search engines, whereas SEM is immediate. As soon as we launch a campaign, it goes through a process of approvals through Google, which usually takes about 24 hours, sometimes less, sometimes more, and then ads will start to show as soon as it's approved. And because the SEM campaigns can be turned on and off whenever and the results are immediate, it's much better for testing than SEO. So with SEM, we can change ad text, target different audience segments, change landing page content, adjust keywords, and so many other things. And then we can just watch the impact of those changes over a much shorter time period than we can with SEO. Another difference is that SEM is only active as long as the campaign is running. So when the ads are off, the SEM strategy is over. Whereas SEO is the opposite. Those strategies grow and compound over time and can leave lasting results. And the last line item is a big one. The click-through rate is the number of clicks from the SERP to the website divided by impressions, so how many people either saw the ad or that organic search result. And the first few organic search results typically have the highest click-through rates, so if you can get to the top of the SERP organically, it's very possible to outperform those paid ads. However, getting there organically takes time, ongoing optimization and updates, and a strategy that consistently needs to adjust to follow the ever-changing best practices of SEO. So that was kind of a lot of information, and I know I went through that pretty quickly, so let's kind of break it out a little bit more again. So again, SEO is the foundation for high quality SEM campaigns. Without a solid SEO strategy, the website won't rank well organically, and that hinders the SEM campaign driving to that site as well. So in that auction, the websites will crawl the landing page, like I said, and if the landing page is lower quality, it will decrease the quality score of the SEM campaign, which may result in the ad being shown less. So it's important to have kind of both SEO and SEM in place at the same time, especially when you're running an SEM campaign driving to that website. SEO, again, you have just partial control over the messaging and landing pages, and it takes multiple efforts for best results, so all that on and off page factors and the technical side of things. And it takes much longer than SEM to achieve pretty varied results. So it just takes a lot longer and can be much more of a process than an SEM campaign can be. So on the SEM side, SEM uses paid tactics, and it's a single effort that can aid the organic search credibility only while the paid search campaign is live. And we also have full control of message and landing page, and it provides much quicker results. So let's look at these results in action here. This is on a desktop, and there are several factors that determine the search results that you will see on any given day for any given search term, like where do you live, are you logged into Google, what type of advertiser competition exists for the term, that sort of thing. There are kind of three groupings displayed here. We have the paid, well, two, I guess. We have the paid and then the organic side of it. And so the two paid ones are going to be those standard text ads. Those are circled in the top left and top right corners. And then in the middle there is Google Shopping. That's also a form of paid ads, but it involves the use of inventory feeds. It's a little bit more complex than just your standard text ads, but it's definitely something that we're capable of doing. And then on the organic side, the free side of it, you can see those standard text organic results on the bottom left corner. And then on the bottom right, the local results, those are also free, but those require you to claim your listing, so your business address, so through like Google My Business. And you will see those local results a bit less often, but it's almost always when the search term indicates the user is looking for a place to shop. So like the compact tractor dealers near me or tractor dealerships near me, that sort of thing. Let's also look at these results on mobile. These were just screenshots taken as I scrolled through the search results. And paid search is even more important real estate on mobile, since it's the only thing to display at the top before you have to start scrolling. And the organic results were actually the very last thing seen on the page for this particular search term. And moreover, in the theme of mobile searching, having websites that are mobile friendly is now a necessity, as you can see, because about nearly 70% of clicks come from mobile devices. But a lot of the dealer campaigns I've worked on, I'd say sometimes even closer to 75% of clicks come from mobile devices. So it's really important that the websites are mobile friendly. So why use paid search? What's the benefit of using paid search for your dealership? One of which is the high quality traffic. So as long as the keywords are on target, we know that we are reaching people that are genuinely interested in the product or service that you have to offer. Also the relevant messaging portion of it. Again, as long as the account is set up and organized properly, we can be sure that users are seeing messages directly related to their search term. So let's say they're looking for a compact tractor. We could promote a particular compact tractor model and then a corresponding offer. And we would make sure that we're driving to a landing page with the compact tractors that includes that model and the offer promoted in the ad. And if they're saying, or if they're searching for maybe a tractor dealer near me, let's say, we might still choose to let them know about current offers and then send them to a dealer locator page where they can find your nearest location. You also pay for your results. So aside from the co-op eligible costs required to have AGCO Direct set up and manage your account, you only pay when a user actually clicks on your ad, and we will make sure that your designated media spend is used on just that, the clicks. And like I said, what's even better is that you save on those setup and management costs if you use AGCO Direct because it is co-op eligible. And onto the measuring portion of it, not only can we see like the typical Google Ads stats, but by setting up desired conversions and actions and syncing to Google Analytics and other Google properties like the Search Console, we're really able to measure the performance of the campaigns and get a holistic view of what is happening during this campaign and where we're reaching people and where we might be losing them in the process. We can also provide timely dashboards so you can get a good understanding of where or of how your campaigns are doing and whether or not users are completing the desired action. And I'll show you some examples of those dashboards closer to the end of the presentation. And lastly, we can optimize the campaigns and we can optimize them quickly. So we can look at like maybe is it the keywords that aren't working? Is the offer not strong enough? Does our landing page not contain relevant enough content? Are we not offering a big enough call to action for them to complete the desired action? Different things like that. But why Google? So while like all the major search engines do have paid search advertising platforms, we typically invest our time and budget into Google as they still dominate in all devices. And rather than limit your campaigns and break apart your budget across various platforms, we put it all into one bucket with the most volume and the best results. And of course, if your budget is exponential and super big, we will look into Bing ads and see if there's volume there. However, most often we just invest in Google. So let's kind of dig into the paid search side of things and how it all comes together and what we can do for you and your dealership. So paid search can help you achieve very specific goals, and it's important to identify those goals up front so we can structure the campaign accordingly and set the right expectations for performance. So if you just want to like increase your brand awareness, we would typically use broader keywords and have less concern for the click-through and conversion rates. If you want to drive sales and generate leads, we want to make sure that the landing page contains a form that's 100% trackable and then optimized based on that click-through and conversion rates, and then keeping a close eye on where and if we're losing people in that process so we can kind of pivot and figure out why and fix that. We can also do seasonal campaigns. So are there certain offers we should promote at certain times throughout the year? Like for example, in the winter, push snowplow attachments, and in the summer, push lawnmower attachments. And also the seasonality of equipment. Like when does it make sense to run a planting campaign, or when does it make sense to run a harvesting campaign? That sort of thing. We can do all of those very quickly and easily. And onto the who of targeting. Geographically, where's your target market? We can get as granular or widespread as you like. We just need to keep in mind what other dealers are running in the same areas and on the same keywords so we can avoid competition. But additionally, we need to make appropriate recommendations based on what your allotted budget can withstand. So the wider your target, the more volume and more expensive a campaign will be. We can set bid adjustments on different segments within the overall target market. So let's say the Denver area of the whole state of Colorado is performing better. We could put a higher bid adjustment on that for the places that are converting better and then pull back in the cities that are underperforming or where the cost per clicks are too high. And on the demographic side, there are limited demographic options in search, but you can make a lot of assumptions based on how users are searching and the keywords selected. So there isn't an option to target farmers directly. However, with a few demos combined with people searching for compact tractor deals, let's say, we can be pretty certain our target is accurate. And onto the where. Within the Google Ads platform, Google.com is not the only option for search advertising. They have their other various Google product search sites like that, Google Shopping and Google Maps. And they also have a list of partners. And we have the option to decide whether or not to invest in the search partners side of it. We most often start out with it selected and then make decisions based on the performance in that network if we should continue that or not. And we can also target specific devices, and we can place bid adjustments on those devices, increase bid adjustments if they're performing better, or decrease bid adjustments if they're not converting as well, that sort of thing. So we have tons of different options in there to really reach the people that are converting and doing the things that we want them to do. On to the when. So when do we want to target these people? We can set start and end dates on campaigns or add groups as deemed necessary by budget or seasonality of keywords or the expiring offers, that sort of thing. We can also look at performance metrics to see what times of day and day of week is converting best for you, and then we can put those bid adjustments to raise or lower bids during certain times of day that are either converting or not converting. So that's pretty cool. I definitely like that option. And then we'll get into the how and how it's all set up and how it all looks to the user. So as far as the keywords, so what's the product or service that we are selling? Is it CUE? Is it high horsepower? Is it application equipment? Is it planting equipment? That sort of thing. Excuse me. And then what's the volume for those terms? Is it worth bidding on them? Are they too expensive? Are they really cheap? That sort of thing. And what content is available? Are these keywords relevant to existing content, or do we need to create new content? And then are there any keywords we want to avoid? Do we not want it to show up for competitors? Do we not want to show up when someone searches used? And we can do that. We just need to add those words as negative keywords. So that's super cool, because then if, let's say we're pushing new equipment, anytime that someone searches like used compact tractors or something, we can put used as a negative keyword, and then it will not show for anyone that searches something with used in it, which is great, because then you can eliminate that more irrelevant traffic, I guess, and make sure that it's super relevant to the user. And then onto the landing page side of things. So does the landing page contain enough content to make it relevant to the keywords we are bidding on and the ad text? And how's the user experience of that page? Is it mobile friendly? And if there's a form on the page, where is that form being displayed? Is it way at the end? Is it at the very top? That sort of thing. And what do we want to track as conversions? Are there any barriers to tracking? Has tracking been set up, or is that something we need to look into? Yeah, let's kind of look at the ads now. So it's important to include the keywords that we're bidding on in the ads themselves to help improve the quality score. It basically just shows Google that the ad is relevant to your keyword, and then they will show your ad at a higher placement, and then eventually discount the cost per click. And you can see that when the keywords are used, they are bolded within the ad, which makes it stand out a little more and show the user that it resonates with their query. We can also include promotions if they exist, but with these promotions, they do need to be reflected on the landing page. And if they're not reflected on the landing page, we can't advertise them in the ad text, because it can decrease the quality score that Google gives the ads, and then that would result in them showing less often. And then the call to action, we can play with that. So what's the action that you want them to take on the site? Like I said, we can experiment with a few different ones. So we could do learn more, or find a dealer, or call now. And you can see that call to action highlighted there. And then onto the ad extension side of things. The ad extensions help the ads stand out, and it makes things easier on the user. It just kind of provides more information or additional little crumbs so they can make a better decision and whether if they want to click on the website or not. So it's always great to include those extensions. Google also likes to see the use of these extensions, and it also factors into the quality score of the ads. So they're pretty important. The first of which is call extensions, and we can include, you can see that highlighted right there. We can include your phone number and then opt into free call tracking, just so you know how many people called and whether or not they were from desktop or mobile. And we can also choose not to do call forwarding if you want to show a local number. However, on mobile, it's hidden by that call button, so we do recommend using the call forwarding at least on mobile devices. We can also include the dealership address, so users can quickly see where you are located and get access to directions. And if you have multiple dealerships, we can include all of them, and then Google will decide what to show based on the user's proximity to that location. And Google now forces us to sync up to the Google My Business account to display these location extensions. There used to be a workaround available, but that has been completely phased out now for probably a year, I'd say. So the only way that we can apply those location extensions is if there is a Google My Business account associated with it, and then we're able to do that. Next, we have callout extensions. These can mention promotional details or other product features or benefits. You can see that highlighted down there, the free shipping, 24/7 customer service, and the price matching. Next, we have the snippet extensions. This can be like a list of brands or models you carry, and only certain snippet categories are now available. Like models and brands, and I think it's like hotel amenities and a few other options. We also can do site link extensions, so we can link to other pages within the website to give users the option of where they want to go, like product detail pages or locate a dealer, that sort of thing. You can see those in this screenshot where it says photos, maps and directions, hotel amenities, and hotel description. Those are those site link extensions. Also, a newer extension is the message extension. You can see the got questions, send us a text. But it gives us the option to, or gives users the option to text for more information. And of course, you have to have a phone number capable of receiving those texts, and then someone or a system on the back end monitoring that. And then onto the landing page side of it. Determining that and making sure it covers all of the things mentioned above is very important. So does it contain the relevant content and keywords? Is the same offer featured on the landing page? Can users quickly complete the action you asked of them in the ad? And how is the user experience? And like I said before, Google reviews that landing page when determining the quality score. So even if your keywords and ads line up, you can be negatively affected if your landing page falls short, which is important to note as well. And then onto the measurement side of things. You can obtain basic ad and keyword performance metrics through Google Ads. However, what we really want to know is what is happening to these users after they click. So are they completing the desired action, or are they just bouncing from the site right away? And that's why it's important to sync up to Google Analytics in order to see the entire picture. It allows us to kind of figure out like how and where we can make improvements. Maybe the keywords and ads are doing what they're supposed to, but the landing page is missing the mark. So having all of these different accounts like the Search Console and Google Analytics all synced up, it allows us to get a really holistic view of the campaign and kind of figure out where we're missing people, what we're doing right, that sort of thing. And we can measure from an overall perspective, or we can measure granularly by campaign, ad group, ad, and keyword in both AdWords and Analytics. This is just kind of a couple screenshots from what I see on my end from the campaign side of things. So the top one is from Google Ads, and the bottom screenshot is from AdWords. So that just kind of provides us some basic details and overview of how the campaigns are performing from a kind of a high level each campaign, which is nice to see that. Yeah, so let's kind of get into those dashboards to wrap up here. So this is just one dashboard for one of our dealers that we work with, and it's, like I said before, it's important to set up those goals at the beginning of the campaign for many reasons, one of which that allows us to kind of get an idea of how we want to structure a dashboard if we do one later in the campaign, and helps us figure out what data is the important data to pay attention to and to include in those dashboards. And these dashboards are super user-friendly and kind of fun to play with, in my opinion. You can look at it again from the holistic view, all the campaigns, or you can look at just one campaign at a time. You can play with the dates and look at 1 month and then compare it to another month, or you can look at one day. It's really cool. They're pretty versatile and super easy to use. This next dashboard is similar. It just includes that call tracking stuff as well. But yeah, so you can just kind of see how those look like. It has the landing page data on there as well, so it provides a pretty holistic view of that. And lastly, not only can we do the SEO strategies and SEM campaigns through the Google Ads platform, but they also have display and video campaign options. And the display ads are those that appear when you're on a website, so like the Excel and Tableau ad at the bottom left-hand corner there. Those ads show on websites that are part of the Google Display Network, which I'm not even sure thousands upon thousands of websites are part of. So display campaigns are great for brand awareness and driving website visits, and there are many ad size options, so the ads are versatile enough to fit on many different page layouts and mobile devices. You can see some of the ad size options in that those images on the right-hand side there, and that 320 by 100 size is the mobile, so you can see how that would kind of be displayed on a mobile phone. And then lastly, this is just a screenshot I took of a video campaign that we're running for a dealer right now. This type of ad is also great for awareness. There are tons and tons of different targeting and formatting options for display and video campaigns. A lot more robust, I would say, than the search options are. But there's a lot to dig into on the the display and video side of things. So I'm happy to make this kind of a two-part webinar. If anyone would like to learn more about the display and video side of things, I'd be happy to do that. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you, Tatiana. That was really good stuff. So she just went over a lot. So hopefully you guys have some questions. If you have questions, you can type those questions into the question box in the webinar tool. Excuse me. There's also going to be a survey that you can fill out as you exit the webinar. So just any questions you have there, you can type them in. And then, of course, you can always reach out to your AGCO Direct Rep with any questions on what Tatiana talked about today, or if you want to get going on a campaign for any of the things she talked about. So we'll jump into the questions here. First question I have for you, Tatiana, comes from a dealer. If I have multiple dealership locations but only sell one brand, let's say Fendt tractors, for example, in one of those locations, can they still run a Fendt campaign?
Yes, they can. So we can pull out those locations that sell the Fendt tractors and build a campaign that pushes those tractors and then target only those locations. And then in the remaining locations, we can push the equipment that they have there, or if they have that equipment in all locations, we can target those.
Okay, great. How about if I only have enough budget to do one campaign, do you recommend search or display?
That depends on the goal of the campaign. So if the goal is to drive traffic to the website and increase brand awareness, display would work. But it's not quite as targeted as search and not as directly relevant to the user always. So it doesn't typically lead to as many conversions. So if the goal is conversions and lead generation, then search is probably going to be the better route to take, as it's, like I said, more relevant to the user and a little bit more targeted.
Okay, excellent. When I search for my dealership, I often see my competitors pop up. Is there a campaign I can do that does this?
Yes, we do the competitor campaigns. We can do like equipment itself or dealership competitors. We don't use the competitors' names in the ad text at all, but we bid on their keywords and then promote your dealership and a specific equipment brand if you'd like in the ad text. But one thing with the competitors' campaigns is it's not uncommon to see higher cost per clicks and lower click-through rates. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're running a competitors' campaign.
Okay. Oh, looks like we've got another one here. is there a minimum budget required for a paid search campaign?
It can depend on what equipment or products you want to advertise, and what the location targeting looks like. So the wider the location targeting, the more budget typically. But probably around $1,000 a month is a good place to start. But again, it just really depends on what we're advertising and where we're advertising.
Okay. And then along with that, the question is, and I think Tatiana talked a bit about this, but is this co-op eligible? And I can jump in on that. Paid search and display and YouTube, all of that digital marketing that Tatiana went through, it's co-op eligible only if it's done through AGCO Direct, and you would get that 60% reimbursement rate for it at that time. Okay, one more. So another question from the dealer says, so my website front page, it's important to have keywords in my content displayed. I think that would be speaking to the SEO. She's wondering about where the keywords need to be.
Yep, it's important to include those keywords in your content of the website, but you don't want to like stuff it so tight that it's kind of repetitive. You want to be sure you're using those keywords, but not overusing them, if that makes sense.
And along those lines, the AGCO Direct has a team that spends a lot of time with SEO and writing for web. So if you'd want us to take a look at your website and make some recommendations on how some of that content can be adjusted to improve those search results, just reach out to our team here and we can do a free audit and come back with some recommendations and let you know what the best path forward would be. All right, it doesn't look like there are any additional questions. Again, if you think of something later, just reach out to the AGCO Direct team and we can help answer those for you or get you in touch with Tatiana. But with that, I think we're good to go. So thank you all so much for joining today, and thank you, Tatiana, for the presentation.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.